within the Western world, very few places where you can write about the Creator publicly or talk about the light of God. In the United States, on the dollar bill it says, "In God we trust." So, everyone recognizes the music of the Creator in a different part of creation. And it's true that Eskimos have close to 1,000 different words for snow. And it's true that Canadians have over 100 different words for hemp. And it's true that Americans have over 100 different words for money. And there are those that say that money is a necessary evil. And I say that I'm sorry, those people have been hurt by money. But I'd like to explain to you a bit about the currency construct in creation. What is the energy? What is the power handed down to currency? And I hope to be able to impart this information so that when you understand this information, you can make a correction within yourself. And as you make that correction within yourself, you'll have a different relationship with money. There are a lot of people that are good-hearted that automatically have a very, very negative relationship with money. They look at the world and they see the majority of the world is impoverished, and the resources of many is held by but a few. And it's difficult for them to conceive of how this can be part of a benevolent construct at all. There are many spiritual systems that say they're aesthetic and they focus on denying the body and denying the forms of materiality to enter into one circle. And that's not what we impart here, because we believe the Creator's light exists in sparks in all of creation, and all those sparks need to be reunited in order to create a God of oneness, the God called all. All the different parts, all the different angels are just expressions of that celestial orchestration. We need to fashion one melody, a single melody called the eternal love story. And so I want to explain to you a different way of how to understand currency. Currency is an invented thing. It doesn't really exist. There was a time when currency had actual silver or gold behind it. But you recognize that in today's world that doesn't even exist. It's all abstract. It doesn't exist. It's just a form of trust. When the trust doesn't exist, the currency doesn't exist. It's a sharing of trust. The dollar bill says, "In God we trust." It should rather say, "Trust is God." When the trust is lost, there is no currency at all. Currency is designed in order to make enemies into partners, make partners into friends, make friends into brothers. I said it in one sentence, but it usually takes several hundred years to transpire. But we are living in a world where Germany and the United States are on very, very good terms. And in fact, the state of Israel, one of their greatest trading, importing partners is Germany. And that's just 60 years ago. We live in a world where the U.S. gives aid to Vietnam and imports products. We live in a world where there's capitalist investment in the Soviet Union. We live in a world where sheiks from Dubai own vast swaths of financial terrain and real estate in Manhattan. And a cynic would say it's all corruption, but I say to you, no other power and no other force has the ability to take parties that are completely self-interested and turn them into partners, and gradually turn those partners into friendships, and gradually turn those friendships into brothers. And because individuals are fixated in mutual self-interest, it's a very long process. But that process is increasingly so, manifesting very, very quickly. So we presently have entered a phase in our world's evolution where if individuals in Somalia are impoverished, it will affect trade in the rest of the world. Where if there are despotic regimes in Afghanistan, it will affect the economy in the Western world. We are no longer able to cleave to a survivalist mentality, but we are increasingly awakening to the fact that we are only as strong as our weakest link amongst us. And because we are so focused on a survivalist self-interest, currency is playing an integral role in helping awakening us to do the right thing against our greater judgment for the benefit of all. I say this to you to impart to you that currency and money has an energy and a power within it. It has a power of charisma. It has a power of bringing, of softening the corners, of rounding them out, of bringing enemies into collaboration. And collaborators into trade, and trade into partnership. Partnerships into friendships, and friendships into family. I want you to adopt that motto. Recognize that. Let go of the pettiness, of the resentments, of the bitterness, the tit for tat. Of fixations, of hierarchies between those that have and those that have not. It's old hat. Its time has passed. You'd be hard-pressed to find any scenario in the last 500 years where there was a magnificent revolution to do away with those few that had the majority of goods, whereby whereby a new group took power to dominate through totalitarian methods. Tit for tat. It's poison. Justice is poison because it doesn't really exist. It never works. It's a loop that never ends. To get beyond the justice, we have to become less clever and a bit more wise. We have to recognize the beauty and the power in money. The ability to bring people together, to collaborate. The ability to find solutions. As we recognize that power, the individuals that have money will increasingly recognize and revere those that are bountiful in inspiration and spirit. As we break the tension, the knots that bind, and all is allowed to coalesce and flow back to its natural order.